Hey, Billsmafia, how's it going? I say that a little facetiously because we all know how it's going. It's not going well. Not all is well in the fam today. We all saw it. Yesterday was terrible. Um, Cincinnati came in like Debo, snatched our chain, and dared us to do something about it, and we didn't. We just sat there looking at them with our chain, and it was not pretty. If you don't get the reference, sorry, but it's a great reference because it's accurate and it's funny. Um, the movie Friday. Go look it up if you don't know. Some of you won't. But anyway, back to the game. I I can only tell you that honestly, I was nervous about the game, but I did not think we weren't going to show up. I didn't think that um, we just weren't. I mean, it was almost as though they took winning for granted. Uh, if you watch that game, I mean, it was 14-0 before you knew it. And the thing is, three and outs on your first two drives against a team like Cincinnati is never good. But the way I'm going to start with the defense, I'm going to start there because I said something on Facebook yesterday, and I mean it. I've been a Leslie Frazier defender. I've been a defender of his. But yesterday was the last straw. Yesterday was the last straw. The 13 seconds debacle, that was awful. And then yesterday, guys just running wide open in the secondary. No answer for anything. No adjustments at any point in that game. Were there any defensive adjustments? You saw Cincinnati defensively just cross things up, do different stuff, things that Deion Dawkins said, and I'm kind of crossing over into the offense, but I'm doing it for a reason. Deion Dawkins said they had no idea what was going on. Nowhere was Cincinnati having to do that. They played three backup offensive linemen and you couldn't get any pressure. In what world does that happen? And when you couldn't get any pressure with your front four, you brought Teron Johnson off the edge a couple of times. Teron Johnson? Again, now their offensive linemen, their backups were big guys. And you had Samaji Perine, who's a pretty big running back himself, picking up blitzes. But they weren't imaginative blitzes. They, stuff that everybody does, come off the corner. You didn't really see any stunts. You didn't see any, and then when they did bring pressure, what did you play in coverage? You played off coverage. You knew Joe Burrow was going to have to get the ball out of his hands quickly, but you played off. Knowing that what they do, this is what Cincinnati does. Anybody who watches Cincinnati at any point knows. When you blitz them, they get the ball out of their hands. Burrow gets the ball out of his hands quickly. He throws it short. But you're playing off. The third down and 4, and you're playing 8 yards off of Jamar Chase. Third and 4, and you're 8 yards off of the receiver. I could have made that first down. I'm 53 years old with a bad back and bad knees. I could have done that. The lack of game planning, uh, you know, apparently, the apparent lack of game planning was just pathetic. So, we've had enough of this. I've had enough of this. I've made excuses for him in the past. Oh, we were the number one defense. We're top 5 defense. Those are all numbers. The bottom line is, when it comes down to it, you can't stop teams. You've got guys that are all pros on that defense. Well, you've got an all pro and linebacker Matt Milano, who disappeared yesterday. Greg Rousseau, first round draft pick, disappeared. Ed Oliver, disappeared. Boogie Basham, disappeared. Tremaine Edmonds, disappeared. Jordan Poyer, disappeared. Tre'Davious White, 2 terrible pass interference calls. Yeah, Tre'Davious White. I know he's off of the knee injury from, the previous season. But you're a multi-million-dollar cornerback. You got your bag. If you're on that field, you got to play like it. You got to be the shutdown corner that you're being paid to be. Now let me get to the offense. From the get-go, nothing. That offensive line played like crap yesterday. They got pushed around. We can't run the ball. We can't run the ball. We are, and somebody described it, and it's probably pretty accurate. We're a Big 12 offense. In terms of, we're a Big 12 offense. And we're playing in the snow. We're playing in that stadium, and we're a Big 12 offense. We don't have a run game. You've got to be multiple. If you're going to play in Buffalo without a dome, which is cool, I kind of like it, it's pretty and nice and everything, but you got to be able to run the ball at some point. You got to be able to push people around. Even the Bills of the 90s, Thurman Thomas was a 1,000-yard rusher annually. He didn't just catch the ball. It wasn't just Andre Reed, James Lofton, Jay Remersma, and Thurman Thomas catching the ball. You had runs. Thurman Thomas was a runner. Remember Super Bowl 25, he had 134 yards rushing, I believe it was. These guys aren't getting open. And it's got to be scheme, because guess what? They got open last year. But for some reason, they can't get open anymore. Everything is labored on that offense. It's just so difficult. Josh Allen standing back there when he had time, and then couldn't find anybody open. Then, yes, Allen. Okay, I'm going to call out Josh Allen now. Missed a wide open Stephon Diggs on the opening drive. Missed him in the end zone in the fourth. It was either the third or fourth quarter. Yes, Stephon Diggs was a little bit miffed on the sidelines. I would be too. There was a statement that said that he talked to Isaiah McKenzie, and he told Isaiah McKenzie it's the same thing every year. It's starting to be the same thing every year. You've got you can't stop anybody in the playoffs. You win 12, 13 games in a season. You got to be able to win. You got to be able to get to the championship game and or the Super Bowl. You got to be able to do it at some point. The lack of creativity on offense. I don't remember seeing one Jets. I don't remember seeing maybe one or two. I think we may have run a couple of jet sweeps this year. Where was that in the offense? The things that Brian Daboll was able to do, Ken Dorsey hasn't been able to do those things. Now, I've seen a couple of people on Facebook say Ken Dorsey should be fired. Well, I wouldn't go that far yet, not on Ken Dorsey, because it's his first year as an OC. I mean, maybe he learned something this year. Maybe he's going to be able to learn something. But I'm not in favor of firing a guy 1 year into his term when he's never done the job before. It's kind of like a rookie. You don't cut your star rookie after his first year just because he didn't have a great first year. Ken Dorsey did have a good first year. He just didn't have a great first year. And I don't know. James Cook wasn't used. Nyheim Hines wasn't used. These are guys that you brought in as weapons. You wanted to get J.D. McKissick so you could use him in the pass game. That would have been a waste. Because you got a guy straight out of college that was J.D. McKissick, and you didn't use him. Then you got another guy that was similar to that, and you didn't use him either. The heck are we doing? I don't know. And as far as Stephon Diggs' tantrum on the sidelines, I don't blame him. I'd be mad too. Get him the ball. Find a way to get him the ball. If you can't get him the ball, somebody's got to be open. Somebody else better be open. If nobody else is open, throw it his way at least. Look back at him. But there are no more excuses for this team. It's going to get tougher because Josh Allen's contract is now at that point where he's getting the money. Okay, this was the last year of the Josh Allen rookie contract. Next year starts the extension. So the salary cap is going to be an issue. What are we going to do? There's got to be changes. You got to be able to stop people. You got to be able to get a pass rush. I know Von Miller wasn't there, but come on. One guy? That's back to the firing of Leslie Frazier because there's no creativity on defense. Needless to say, I'm disappointed. Needless to say, we all are. But I will say this. For those people who are sitting there saying, I'm done with this team. I'm done with them. I've had enough, blah, blah, blah. Really? You call yourself fans? You can criticize your team. Criticize them. They deserve it. But don't sit there and tell me you're a fan and then say, I'm done with this team. I'm gone. Because you're nothing but a bandwagon fan. I've been at this thing for 43 years. I was a fan of the Bills when it was Joe Ferguson, Joe Cribbs, Jerry Butler, Frank Lewis, the Bermuda Triangle. Steve Freeman. I was a fan of those teams. I was a fan when they brought in Vince Ferragamo. If you don't know who that is, look it up. There are some fans that go back even further than that. They go back to the O.J. Simpson days. Some people go back to Cookie Girl Chris. They've been at this thing a long time. You people that are sitting there saying, I'm done with this team, some of you oh, we had the drought and so I'm done with the team. Nope. Don't come claiming them when they start when don't claim them when they lose. I'm sorry, don't claim them when they win if you can't claim them when they lose. And on that note, go Bills.